He's saying that when a yogi silences his mind or in any other way, because there are other ways also of going to the self. Okay? The self is the second level of the spiritual planes of consciousness. So when you go there, normally what happens is that you are completely cut off from the physical body and the universe is a transcendent experience, and you are very peaceful and you are very satisfied. Okay? But now they're saying there's a progression. In this paragraph, you will see that there's a progression. And that progression, it is very clearly there in Srimad also, but it's also there in the Gita. Okay? That we have discussed. First of all, you are a Sakshi. You are not at all interested in any action, and you're not even interested in the world. You're just looking on, unconcerned, and absolutely peaceful and untouched. But then, that's not the only experience. It depends on the soul. Okay, the soul may feel that I would like to go higher up. That is what you will see in the para that he is saying. So then you realize that the disconnection between your consciousness and the physical world is not that final. Is not that final. There is a connection, and you realize that you are the Anumanta. You are the permission giver to the body, mind, life to do what it was doing earlier, including sin and good deeds and bad deeds. And why is that? Because it has to have experience. The more experience you get, the more knowledge you get, and there is a purification that takes place with knowledge. So this is the thing. So after a Sakshi, you become the Anumanta, you feel that there is a connection. And then you can withhold the permission. After this point, we have discussed yesterday. After that, there is a succession, and you become the Jnata, you become the knower, you become the Bhokta. By the way, it's not serial. Different individuals will experience a different sequence. Okay, but you become the Bhokta, you become the Bharta. Bharta, Bhokta, Jnata. Finally, you become the Ishvara at the third level, where you have the power to also fully change your lower nature. Okay, so keep this in mind. Normally, when we say you go to the Nirvana consciousness of the self, and there is total disconnection, and you're not interested anymore, that's only the first stage. Second stage, the soul may feel like there's a pressure for me to go even higher up. That's exactly what we're going to read now. Okay, so I'm reading the sentence from where we have to read today. For now, this lower Prakriti feels progressively a compulsion from a higher Shakti. So you're not satisfied only with peace, but you want to go even higher up. Okay, you're not satisfied with only the peace. You want also the transformation of some of the things that you have defects in the lower nature. For now, this lower Prakriti, the body, mind, life, lower Prakriti, feels progressively a compulsion from a higher Shakti. Compulsion to what? To rise even higher. The old habits to which it clung receive no further sanction and begin steadily to lose their frequency and force of recurrence. Okay? Suppose you had the problem of anger or problem of greed or problem of selfishness, all these things slowly, you say, I don't want these. So say, I don't want this, and slowly they start disappearing. They disappear in time. They don't disappear immediately because the old energy that you have given it, okay, continues for some time until it is exhausted. Okay, so there is a thing. So this is what he's saying. The old habits to which it clung receive no further sanction and begin steadily to lose their frequency and force of recurrence. Things like anger or greed. I'm giving two very easy examples to follow. You start seeing that they start disappearing. Okay? At last, it understands that it is called to a higher action and a better state. And however slowly, however reluctantly, with whatever initial or prolonged ill will and stumbling ignorance, it submits, turns, and prepares itself for the change. This last sentence that he said need not happen in every yoga. Need not happen. Because they're so satisfied, they don't feel that impulse. What Sri Ambrose said, that you feel a impulsion, no, compulsion. So we're saying if you feel a compulsion from the higher Shakti, you need not feel it. But in the integral yoga, definitely it is bound to happen. Okay? So at last he understands that it is called to a higher action and a better state, and however slowly, however reluctantly, with whatever initial and prolonged ill will. Note that, ill will is, I don't want to change. There is a part of you that wants to change. That's your higher consciousness. It wants to change. But the vitals in the body, they refuse. Okay? It's ill will. They completely refuse. You will see the struggle within yourself. That's what he's saying. And stumbling ignorance. Ignorance is also there. It submits finally, turns and prepares itself for the change. So we have spoken about the surrender in the mind. It can be done fairly easily because it's a principle. But the surrender of the vital is very difficult. Okay? And the surrender of the body is absolutely the last stage. It does not happen except in the case of mother. Okay. So that is the thing. Now we can go to the next one. Okay. Or I can do one thing, because we read only from the beginning of from the middle of the para. So I can read the summary so that we get an idea, and then we will go on to the next para. Now, I am reading the summary. You will not find this in the text. Okay? I have written this para, which we read just now, explains the Anumanta stage after the Sakshi stage. Okay? Sakshi stage is unconcerned with the physical world, but the Anumanta stage is you start becoming aware that you can change something in the body mind life. So, as we have seen earlier, there is a series of progressive steps up to the highest status of complete mastery, lordship. Okay? And this series is like this. First of all, witness, Sakshi. Second, Anumanta, sanction giver. Third, Bharta. You are the one who is supporting, your consciousness is supporting the body mind life. Then you become the Bhokta, you become the enjoyer. And at that level, the Bhokta, you start enjoying everything that you did not enjoy earlier. Everything becomes enjoyable. Okay? In the beginning, that Sakshi attitude, you are free from liking and disliking. Neither there is Ananda nor there is depression. Okay? But now with the Bhokta attitude, you start enjoying everything. Okay? Bitterness, Karela, some people don't like sweet also. All those things disappear and you start enjoying everything. You become the Bhokta. Finally, you become the Ishwar, Lord and Master, and from which level you can even change your mind and vital habits also. May not be the body, but the body will change ultimately, but that's a different process altogether. That is the next stage of evolution that is likely to happen. Now, in this series, I'm still continuing with the summary. In this series, the first step is a detached superiority to the lower prakriti of tamas, rajas, sattva. This is a state of freedom, indifference, peaceful gladness. Only peace is there. But the lower prakriti continues to act in the old established grooves of habit. Okay? Desires, grief, joy, which assail the heart. There is a cyclical movement of depression and inaction after the attack. Slowly, the former light and peace return into the being. But all these vicissitudes have no effect on the soul, now seated far above the body-mind life. The soul only observes impartially, smiling at the tantrums of the lower nature, joys and griefs. The soul is disturbed neither by the mind's ignorant errors nor by its enlightened moments. It's absolutely neutral. Okay? Nor is it upset by the heart's emotional ups and downs. Okay? Now, this is the interesting part. The inner being is absolutely calm and quiet, but the outer one sometimes can be, there can still be pain and discomfort. Okay, so you will feel somebody looking at that person will not understand that his consciousness is at a very high level. He may even get angry. Okay, I refer you to that magnificent sonnet of Swinburne's, The Self. Okay, so that is the condition. Okay, if you look at the poem The Self, you will see what they say. There is a man who says, I am free, I am in the self. And then he starts cursing because his dinner is not ready. Okay. And when Swinburne questions him, he says, it's the stomach that is growling. Okay. It's not me. My consciousness is up there very calm and quiet. It's the stomach that is doing that. And I'm not the stomach anymore. So what does it matter? Okay. The soul, summit seated, now looks upward patiently to the guidance of a higher will. This is what Shendra said in the last line that we read in this paragraph. Okay, it looks upwards patiently to the guidance of a higher will from the planes, superior even to the spiritual state, individual station. Continually practicing this attitude, it is now enabled to liberate the lower nature from the three gunas. Okay. First, the liberation of the soul, later, the liberation of nature. Purusha first, Prakriti next. Okay. But this is only in the integral yoga. The Prakriti never gets transformed in the other yogas unless they try. Okay. So, liberation of nature is a slow, graded, prolonged process. Finally, individual Prakriti consents to liberation, however tardily, however reluctantly, however revolting. This is what we have read today. Now we can go on to the next para, the static freedom of the soul. So who will read? Tuesday is Pallavi's day. Normally, I ask her to read. If she is there and she has a text, she can read.
Yes, Rangada, I have the text.
Okay, go ahead. The static freedom of the soul.
The static freedom of the soul, no longer witness only and knower, is crowned by a dynamic transformation of the nature. The constant mixture, the uneven operation of the three modes acting upon each other in our three instruments ceases from its normal, confused, troubled, and improper action and movement. Another action becomes possible, commences, grows, culminates, a working more truly right, more luminous, natural, and normal to the deepest divine interplay of Purusha and Prakriti, although supernatural and supernormal to our present imperfect nature. The body conditioning, the physical mind insists no longer on its tamasic inertia that repeats always the same ignorant movement. It becomes a passive field, an instrument of a greater force and light. It responds to every demand of the spirit's force, holds and supports every variety and intensity of a new divine experience. Our kinetic and dynamic vital parts, our nervous and emotional and sensational and volitional being expand in power and admit a tireless action and a blissful enjoyment of experience, but learn at the same time to stand on a foundation of wide, self-possessed and self-poised calm, sublime in force, divine in rest, neither exulting nor excited, nor tortured by sorrow and pain, neither harried by desire and importunate impulses, nor dulled by incapacity and indolence. The intelligence, the thinking, understanding, and reflective mind renounces its chaotic limitations and opens to an essential light and peace. An infinite knowledge offers to us its splendid ranges, a knowledge not made up of mental constructions, not bound by opinion and idea, or dependent on a stumbling, uncertain logic and the petty support of the senses, but self-sure, authentic, all-penetrating, all-comprehending, a boundless bliss and peace, not dependent on deliverance from the hampered strenuousness of creative energy and dynamic action, not constituted by a few limited felicities, but self-existent and all-including, pour into ever-enlarging fields and through ever-widening and always more numerous channels to possess the nature, a higher force, bliss and knowledge from a source beyond mind and life and body, seize on them to remold in a diviner image.
This is the experience after the Anumanta stage. So this is exactly what he's saying. The static freedom of the soul. Note that. Okay? It is static freedom. There is no will to change anything. You are just watching. Okay? But now, the Anumanta stage, it is no longer witness only. Okay? And knower, no longer witness and knower. Witness, Sakshi, knower, Jnata. Okay? He is using the English translation of the Gita words. Okay? Is crowned by dynamic transformation of the nature. So even the nature, your body, mind, life starts becoming different. As I said, your habits, old habits start slowly disappearing, not immediately, slowly. It's crowned by dynamic transformation of the nature. Very effective. Okay? So the constant mixture, the uneven operation of the three modes acting upon each other in our three instruments ceases from its normal, confused, troubled, and improper action and movement. Let's look at that sentence. The constant mixture of what? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And why is it mixed? Because Tamas can affect the mind and Tamas can affect the vital also. We feel lazy. Or the vital can affect the mind by confusing it. Okay? It throws its desires on the mind and you don't think logically anymore. Okay? Or even the vital can also affect the body by forcing it to action. Okay? Like you should eat in a very proportionate manner, but the vital desire to eat more will harm the body. So there's an interaction between, I gave you an example of the constant mixture. Okay? So constantly, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas are interacting with each other and influencing each other, sometimes for good, sometimes for not so good. Okay? But if the mind is influencing the vital, it's good. And if the mind also with its mental will and the vital will also puts its thing on the body, it is trying to get out of the tamas. So that's good. So there can be a mixture of good and bad. Okay? The constant mixture, the uneven operation of the three modes. Now note that word uneven, because when you go to the self, the three modes become even to each other. There is no more interaction. If you want in mathematical terms, 1/3%, okay, 3.333% each one. They don't interact now, they become static. Okay. Then you become Trigunatita. The body, mind, life is not the body, mind, and life is not interacting with each other. Calmness prevails in the body. Uneven operation of the three modes acting upon each other in our three instruments. Which are the three instruments? Body, vital, and mind. Ceases from its normal, confused, troubled, and improper action and movement. So another action becomes possible, commences, grows, culminates. Now look at the sequence, and that shows it. Slowly it happens. How simply expressing? First of all, you see that there is a possibility of your anger getting reduced. You see the possibility clearly. Okay? Then next, it commences. You start seeing that your anger is becoming less and less. Okay? Then grows. It becomes slowly even more powerful. Finally, culminates. The anger disappears entirely. A working, more truly right, more luminous, natural and noble to the deepest divine interplay of Purusha and Prakriti, although supernatural and supernormal to our present imperfect nature. Okay? It begins. Okay. Commences, grows, and culminates. And what is that? It's a working which is more truly right, more luminous, natural, and normal to the deepest divine interplay of Purusha. Purusha and Prakriti are constantly interaction between themselves. At the lowest level, Prakriti is completely dominating their soul. At the, at the level of the self, the self is detached from body mind life. There is no more connection and no more influence. But at a slightly higher level than that, as Sindhu is rising in the spiritual planes, you can start influencing body mind life. Okay? It's the reverse now. Earlier, the body mind life was dictating terms to the soul. Now the soul can start dictating terms to the body mind life. And slowly, the habits of body mind life start disappearing. Okay. It's interesting that at the level 1, the domination of body mind life over the soul is 100%. Okay? But the second one, when you rise, the control of self over the body mind life is not 100%. It grows, commences, slowly reaches the climax. Okay? And the climax is only at the highest levels. Okay? So that's what it's saying. I read the next sentence. The body conditioning the physical mind, you have to read it like that. So you don't put any commas. The body conditioning the physical mind insists no longer on its tamasic inertia that repeats always the same ignorant movement. Now, this is very interesting. This repetition, he has spoken about it many, many times. You will see that many of your habits are going on repeating themselves. You know, it's like you are trying to escape from a maze. You know, in Lucknow, there's a Bhool Bhulaiya. Those who have gone there and seen, you go into a maze and you can't escape. You go on making a mistake. You go here, there, here, there. The vital is exactly like that. Okay. And so you get stuck there and you can't come up until the guide comes and shows you how to get out of the path. Okay. So this is what happens. So many places he has said that. So long as you remain in the vital body consciousness, there will be a repetition of all the old habits. They'll go on repeating themselves. There is no escape, looks like. Okay. So the body conditioning the physical mind insists no longer on its tamasic inertia. Now that also starts changing. That repeats always the same ignorant movement. You start seeing that the repetition also is becoming less and less. Okay? Repetition of what? Repetition of anger, repetition of greed, repetition of other habits. Okay? Repeats always the same ignorant movement. It becomes a passive field, an instrument of a greater force and light. Sometimes, if one is lucky, you can feel that there is a guidance being given to you. Okay, the guidance can be sensed sometimes, okay? Not directly, but by its results. Okay? That's interesting. Suddenly you see that there is a guidance. That's why something has happened. Okay? It becomes a passive field, an instrument of a greater force and light. It responds to every demand of the spirit souls, holds and supports every variety and intensity of new divine experience. Of course, what Sridhar is describing here is at a very high level. Okay? Maybe at the intuitive mind level and the overmind level. Okay? Holds. Now, there is holds is not there in SCVCA. It holds and supports every variety. That was added later on. Okay? And supports every variety and intensity of new divine experience. Our kinetic and dynamic vital parts. Kinetic is the body which is moving. The dynamic vital parts, the eagerness to act. Our nervous and emotional being, emotional and sensational and volitional being. See? All these belong to the vital. Nervous is vital physical, the nerves in the body. Emotional, the higher vital. Sensational, the physical vital is a sensational. And volitional, that which is what? Will. That also is the higher vital. Being expand in power and admit a tireless action and a blissful enjoyment of experience. But learn at the same time to stand on a foundation of wide, self-possessed and self-poised calm. There is no more that old excitement in the vital. It's a very settled calm, sublime in force, divine in rest, neither exulting, nor excited, nor tortured by sorrow and pain, neither harried by desire and importunate impulses, nor dulled by incapacity and ignorance. All these things which belong to the body and the vital start slowly reducing themselves. The intelligence, the mind, the thinking, understanding, and reflective mind. Okay, so there also there is a gradation. See, the intelligence normally, the thinking normal mind, understanding. Okay, understanding is already when you go to a higher level. So everybody uses the word understanding to show a different level of mind level, and reflective mind. The reflective mind is when it becomes silent. Okay, that's the highest. So here also there is a gradation. First of all, there is a normal intelligence, then there is a thinking, which is capable of logic. The intelligence is not always capable of logic. The thinking is capable of logic. You think out, consider everything. Understanding, even better. You start understanding the nature of things. And reflective mind, you are reflecting the higher levels of truth. And that can happen only when the mind is silent, completely still. Kinchidapi chintaye, says the Gita. Essential light and peace. No, sorry. Reflective mind renounces its sattvic limitations and opens to an essential light and peace. So that static condition is being renounced. Its sattvic limitations and opens to its essential light and peace. Even the mind starts becoming full of light and peace. An infinite knowledge offers to us its splendid ranges, and knowledge not made up of mental constructions, not bound by opinion and idea, or dependent on stumbling, uncertain logic and the petty support of the senses, but self-sure, authentic, all penetrating, all comprehending, a boundless bliss and peace, not dependent on deliverance from the hampered strenuousness of creative energy and dynamic action, not constituted by a few limited felicities, but self-existent and all-including, poured into ever-enlarging fields and through ever-widening and always more numerous channels to possess the nature. Your consciousness starts increasing in height, but also expanding in width. Okay? So and when that expands in width, ever enlarging fields and through ever widening, okay, you start understanding things which you never understood before. Your activities can cover more territory. A higher force, bliss and knowledge from a source beyond mind and life and body seize on them to remold in a diviner image. This obviously is speaking of a very, very high level of consciousness, even higher than the yogi's consciousness. A yogi who is stabilized in self may not have all these experiences. This is at a very high level. That's very important. So we have about 11 minutes, 10 minutes. We can read the next one. So you can see here. Yes, please do that.
Here, the disharmonies of the triple mode of our inferior existence are overpassed, and there begins a greater triple mode of a divine nature. There is no obscurity of tamas or inertia. Tamas is replaced by a divine peace and tranquil eternal repose, out of which is released from a supreme matrix of calm concentration the play of action and knowledge. There is no rajasic keenness, no desire, no joyful and sorrowful striving of action, creation and possession, no fruitful chaos of troubled impulses. Rajas is replaced by a self possessed power and illimitable act of force that, even in its most violent intensities, does not shake the immovable poise of the soul or strain the vast and profound heavens and luminous abysses of its peace. There is no constructing light of mind casting about to seize and imprison the truth, no secure or inactive case. Sattva is replaced by an illumination and a spiritual bliss, identical with the depth and infinite existence of the soul and instinct, with a direct and authentic knowledge that springs straight from the veiled glories of the secret omniscience.
But a small para, you can easily do this today, finish it off. Very interesting, but we have to note all the words and interpret correctly. Here, the disharmonies of the triple mode of our inferior existence. The triple mode, sattva, rajas, tamas, body, mind, life. Okay? The disharmonies, because we know that the mind and life and body are completely always in disharmony. We don't actually see that. But what the mind wants, the vital doesn't want. What the vital wants, the mind may accept and may not accept. The body also does not always collaborate with the vital and the mind. It does not. There is a disharmony. Our inferior are overpassed. In other words, there is a complete peace and calm in the body mind life. Even your health will improve. Okay? Are overpassed, and there begins a greater triple mode of the divine nature. Now, Swami is giving something very interesting in the paragraph. He is telling you that the sattva, rajas, tamas of the lower nature start putting on the corresponding higher nature of the three modes of nature. This is the interesting part. So how does tamas, what becomes, what does the rajas become, and what does the sattva become? That's what he is explaining. Very interesting, just have a look. And this is a very interesting point, because again and again he says in Life Divine also that if there is no connection between the higher and the lower, like the Mayavadi and the Buddhists are saying, if there is no connection, then a divine life on earth is impossible. How can it be? Because the divine is up there without any entrance into the lower. So there cannot be a divine life. But Sri contention is, no, there is a connection and there is a correspondence. And that correspondence is what he is showing us now. Okay? This correspondence he establishes in the Life Divine in 10 chapters. Okay? He takes up each one first. Body, then vital, and then the mind, and shows that there is a connection. So, are overpassed, and there begins a greater triple mode of the divine nature. There is no obscurity of tamas or inertia. Mother and Swami were working 20-22 hours continuously. And even then, even sleep was not there. They used to just let the body, mother had no bed, if you remember. If you go to a room, you'll see there's no bed, but there's only a sofa on which she used to recline. But even in reclining, the body is reclining, but the consciousness is working. Okay, so that is what happens. So Swami is writing letters the whole night, only from 6 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the morning, he would rest a little. So look at that. He's saying there is no obscurity of tamas or inertia. Tamas is replaced by divine peace and tranquil, eternal repose, out of which is released from a supreme matrix of calm concentration, the play of action and knowledge. There is no rajasic kinesis. The word is kinesis. That is the movement. We have a scooter which is called kinetic, okay, because it's supposed to be a very, very good movement. Okay, so kinetic. Rajasic kinesis. No desire, no joyful and sorrowful striving of action, creation, and possession. This is the characteristic of the vital. Action. It always wants action. It wants creation. creation of new things. That's the nature of the vital. And possession. It always wants to possess everything. Okay? No fruitful chaos of troubled impulse. Now that's very interesting and very, very Sri Aurobindonian. There's a chaos, but it does produce some sort of fruit sometimes. Okay, so no fruitful chaos of troubled impulse. Now, what replaces Rajas? Rajas is replaced by self-possessed power and an illimitable act of force. Note the word self-possessed. In other words, in our case, the energy in us is not possessed by the soul. It is possessed by the Prakriti. Universal nature possesses our energy in the body and does whatever it wants to do. But here, Rajas is self-possessed. Okay? It possesses itself. It's got full control over itself. Note the word self-possessed. Very interesting word. Power and illimitable act of force. Tremendous amount of energy you get. That even in its most violent intensities does not shake the immovable poise of the soul. In other words, like in the Gita, Arjuna is doing the most violent of actions, killing people. Yet, if he is in the self, he will be absolutely calm and quiet. Note in Mahabalipuram, there is a very Durga Mahisha Mardini. There is a panel in Mahabalipuram. Okay, you can see the Durga is absolutely with a spear. She is killing the Mahisha Mardini, but she is absolutely calm within. There is no disturbance, no anger, nothing. So that's the process is describing here. That even in its most violent intensity does not shake the immovable poise of the soul or stain the vast and profound heavens and luminous abysses of its peace. Now note the word stain. Huh? It's not figurative. It is real. The substance of the higher does not get stained by the dirt of the lower. Those who have got subtle sight will be able to see the stains. Okay? The vast and the profound heavens and luminous abysses of the peace. Luminous abyss also. Not only profound heavens, but luminous abyss. Note the word profound heaven. Okay. Heaven is not profound, is deep. Okay. But heaven is up and still he is calling it deep. Very interesting words. Okay. And luminous abyss of peace. There is no constructing light of mind. At which level do you find constructive light of mind? The normal level 1. We are constructing. All our thoughts, we take the mental substance and construct things. This construction is not there anymore. Why? Because the mind is silent. And if the mind is silent, it is not producing any constructs. It is only reflecting the higher truths. Okay? So that's why constructing light of mind, casting about to seize and imprison the truth. No insecure or inactive ease. Inactive ease. Okay? So it's not there. Okay? It becomes an active ease, completely positive ease. When we are resting, it's an inactive ease. Why? Because our vital will be wanting all sorts of things. Our mind will be restless. Although I'm lying on my sofa, I'm seeing what to do, what not to do, what am I going to eat. That's inactive ease. Okay, it becomes inactive ease. Sattva is replaced by an illumination and a spiritual bliss, identical with the depth and infinite existence of the soul, and instinct with a direct and authentic knowledge that springs straight from the veiled glories of secret omniscience. In other words, the body's tamas becomes a positive peace and calm. The activity of the rajas, the disturbed energy of the rajas becomes a self-possessed calm and force, pure force, no wrong actions at all, pure force, Shakti. The mind's ignorance is replaced by the light of knowledge. That's what Srimad is saying. Okay, so wonderful. You can see the correspondences here. So today we stop here, and next we go to the This is a greater consciousness. But keep in mind, these experiences are a very high level. It's not available to the but you can see the beginnings of it if you are doing the integral yoga sincerely. The beginnings of all these movements you can see. He has told us, commences, grows, and culminates. He has used those words. It takes time. Okay? Au revoir, everybody. Have a nice day.
Bonne journée.
Thank you, Ranga.
Merci, Ramadan.
Yes.
Thank you.